she didn't put it in. Okay, so next, for those of you who don't know who I am, this was put together, so it'll show you a brief, and I'll talk through this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and then MMA. I won 5 world championships. I've been on covers of national magazines such as this one, and I did free diving, shot 100, 16-pound goals, and over 100-pound plus. There's a little clip of me playing racquetball. This is Marty Hogan, who's the best of all-time racquetball player. I'll explain a little bit more when we get to this slide later on in the. But that's kind of what racquetball looks like for all the young people who never saw racquetball before. The older ones know racquetballs. And what's next? So it just shows where I've played all over the world. So in racquetball, I've traveled to every state in the United States except North and South Dakota. And 181 miles an hour was what I was clocked at hitting the racquetball at. This year's World Championships in Brazil. And then me winning 2 different years. And the footage is not real clear because it's super old. And then this is how the arenas would look when I fought MMA in Hawaii. So this is and here's a little clip. So if you guys don't like fighting, it's not as bad as it looks.
I just don't disagree with him tonight because he knows how to be.
Yeah, it does hurt a little when you get hit like that. So, so here's some of the. Well, I guess MMA has been a big part of my life. This is when I made my comeback at 43 years old, fighting a 20-year-old kid. That's not the kid though. And then here's pictures. The reason they show a lot of this fight is this is my first fight I ever fought in Hawaii. And this guy was brought in from Brazil, and you can tell he's outweighs me by about 25 pounds. That's always been kind of like my joy, is to fight people bigger than I am. And that's always been a fun challenge for me to show people that a smaller person can handle bigger people. This is one of the newer things that I've been doing. I got ebooks. Here's I don't know if that's scary or. And then there's some workouts. It's also an ebook that I'll tell you at the end where you can get them if you're interested. But it's not like all punching stuff. We just call it MMA. That's when I want the. So there's some other things. I guess MMA is such a big part.
It's really scary that when you shave your head.
Yeah. And then here's our old gym. That was a little shot of our old gym. There's going to be other shots of our old gym that you get to see, but you guys got to see our new gym. I'm trying to look scary there. But here's some. Is that Marcia? That's Marcia. There's Kimmy. These are my trainers, Heather, Kimmy, Corey.
Are we supposed to clap here?
She always kept me in line. So basically what I'm going to talk to you about, there's 3 sports and there's 3 lessons. So my sports are racquetball, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then mixed martial arts. And the 3 lessons are like dare to dream, never give up, and set your path to your goals, right? Because that's one of the most important things, is you have to have your goals. So first off was racquetball. One of the things that I always talk about too, and there's no slide in here, but does anyone know how hot water has to get to boil or to create steam? This guy's smart. He knows. 212. See, this guy's smart. Okay. Anyway, if the water hits 211 degrees, it doesn't create steam, right? So just think that 1 degree more, that steam can make a locomotive run or like make a train run, right? Something that huge. So my point is, as you watch this, I might bring that up as we go on through the slides, because through my career, there's been times where I just thought I was going to quit, but I didn't. Here's one of the companies that I created. It was by Alice and I created. It was a racket company, And what I did is I won 2 world championships with this racket. And from the day we started the company, the first year we did like $1 million or $1.2 million in sales. And the second year we did the same, which is pretty remarkable for, how old were we?
24, 25.
24, 25 years old. We borrowed $35,000 and we created this $1 million business, which is really cool. But then we lost it all. Imagine make $1 million and then you lose it all. I mean, it's enough to just make you want to quit, you know. So anyway, let's talk about how I got into racquetball. So basically, I couldn't beat my mom. I was 16 years old, and just imagine, you're 16 years old, you think you're a jock, you're all-star basketball, all-star baseball, like a good athlete, and then you play your mom and she beats you in racquetball. And it wasn't like she just beat me. We played to 15 points and I barely scored 2 points, 3 points. And I ran. And then when I finally could beat my mom, then my mom introduced me to this old gray-haired man that had knee brace. Yeah. And then he runs me around and beats me, and I was like, this is unbelievable, I can't believe it. And so these are little tiny struggles, right? And then the major struggle is when I finally got good enough to go on the pro tour. I decided I got enough sponsors. I went to 10 pro stops all year long. I didn't win 1 match. So I actually didn't win 1 game. What does this say, match? So I didn't even win a game in a match, which is really horrible. And I spent all this money to travel to all the 10 different states. And I thought, I think it's time for me to quit. And I was wondering, where am I headed? Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to keep going, or is it time for me to hang it up? And this whole thing was all against, my parents are both educators, right? So their whole thing was, I had to quit university before I had to drop out to pursue my dream. And my parents were all against it. And, you know, it's like, this picture illustrates of a dive. Whenever you have to dive in racquetball, you're in a bad place because you're kind of like rock bottom because it's a scramble. I got to get up and recover before this guy hits the next ball. And that's what you're going to see in a live play later on. But this is the kind of things where if I didn't do that, if I didn't dive for that ball, I don't know if I had another chance. It's so easy to just let that ball go and say, hey, let's play the next rally, right? But sometimes when you do this, you may win the rally at the end, right? So anyway, this one illustrates that. That's me serving the ball. This is Mario Hogan, who's the best racquetball player of all time still to today. And you see how he has me on the run. And then he'll hit something and I have to dive. So I'm in a bad place. I could quit, but I refuse to. I'm kind of regaining myself again. And I'm in a good spot again. And then here he goes again. He's got me on the run. And because I dove twice, I ended up winning this rally. So this is one of those things, 211 degrees, 212, it makes a big change. So you never know. So the same thing, right? You get to 212 degrees, that's when things change for you. So you just gotta really hang on, never give up. And then I talked about, I lost every single match in that whole year, and that was one of the things that I had to overcome, because when you give up, like say school and your whole family is against it, and you decide, okay, I'm gonna go against what your family says. And you know, when you go and you pursue it against everyone, grandparents, everyone, and you come back and you lose, it's like you gotta face them. That's like a really tough thing to do, right? To face your family. So I just always like to point that out, because if I didn't do what I love to do and what my dream was, no matter what anyone says, if in your heart you know that that's what you want to do, you gotta go for it. So here, this is one of the sayings that I like. At the moment when you feel like you've reached a point of absolute exhaustion, inspire yourself to take one last step. That is when you have successfully arrived to the next level. And again, it's the same thing as 211 degrees to 212 degrees, right? Now my next sport, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Here's my 2 medals, which I don't know where they are anymore. They meant so much. But some of these are some of the other things. This is Pride. It was the biggest fighting organization in the world in Japan, which I fought in front of 30,000 people in one arena. That's some of the medals. And that, again, was another story of my life, because I saved all this money after racquetball, saved all my money. I went to California to try to qualify for the U.S. team. So I save up money, I get there, I qualify, and then I'm supposed to come back in 2 months because the US team is going to go to Brazil to the World Championships. Well, I fly out there. This is kind of before internet and all of that. So I fly to California, I show up at the school where we're all supposed to meet, and they're like looking at me like, what are you doing here? I said, oh, are we going to the World Championships? And they're like, oh, you didn't hear me? I was like, what? They said, oh, someone robbed me with all the money, so no one's going. I was like, whoa! And I was like, I had $1,000 in my pocket, which I think the next slide shows. And I was like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna turn around and go home? Or am I gonna go for it? And so I sat for a little while and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I went and I said, is there any way I can get a flight to Brazil? I got $1,000. So they found me a flight for like $600, $700 somewhere around there. So I took it. I took a chance that I could survive on $300 through the World Championships. Mind that I'm cutting weight to make the weight classes because jiu-jitsu has weight classes, so I knew I didn't need that much food. So, and I didn't think, everyone hears Brazil dangerous and all. I didn't really think it was dangerous at all. So I thought if I had to, I'd sleep on the street or wherever I had to sleep. So anyway, I got a ticket. I flew down there, and that's another thing, right? 211 degrees, right? If I didn't go down there, I would have never won. I don't know. And then I went back the second year against. Everybody's thought was I shouldn't go back because that year after I won, it was the first non-American to win the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu title in Brazil. So I actually ended up sleeping in one of the guys' dojos, like stinky and dirty, but they rushed me out of the arena because they were gonna kill me because I was the first non-American and non-Brazilian to win the title. They didn't want anyone else not from Brazil to win. So I ended up sleeping in this guy's gym all night, freezing cold in my stinky, no shower. And then the next day they rushed me to the airport and I flew home. And then all the talk in the magazines were like, yeah, Ian's not gonna come back because he's scared. And of course, not being smart enough, I decided to go back. And then I decided, okay, this is what I'm gonna do this year. I'm gonna go back this next year and I'm gonna enter what they call an absolute division. So that means I'm gonna fight guys any weight at 180 pounds. This is my next slide. This is where they put me up first round. And everyone's telling me, Ian, man, you're gonna lose first round. You may as well quit because this guy's gonna hurt you. And I was like, well, yeah. Sometimes a little guy wins, huh? And so this was my first round. My second round, they put me against. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Gracies, but the Gracies are like the best in jiu-jitsu. Second round is a Gracie guy. They're like, oh man, even if you get past that guy, you're gonna be so tired that you won't be able to beat the Gracie. But I thought differently. Anyway, and I ended up winning that, right? And then the third sport is mixed martial arts, which is MMA. And my little quote is, I don't stop when I'm tired, I stop when I'm finished. And as you could see in one of the earlier reviews, I mean, it's not real cool that I'm hitting someone, but I don't stop because I'm tired. I'm just gonna keep going until it's done. And this is a picture of me in my last fight. There's a little trailer from the show that I created. I created this fighting show called The Champion, and what we did was I got together a whole bunch of young fighters and I took them to training, and it was kind of like a reality show. It was kind of cool, but that's another little thing that I've done. And then here's my comeback after 5 years. I was 43 years old. I had kids now, and believe it or not, kids really make a difference. Before I always thought that when I fought. If you think about it, if you fight a guy who's willing to die in the fight, and you're just playing it for the sport, who's probably going to win, right? The person who's playing it for a sport is going to quit at any time. The guy who's willing to die is the guy who's always going to win. And my brother and I always had that attitude where if you have me in an arm lock and you're going to break my arm, go for it. I still got the other arm, right? If you got me in a choke, you have to put me to sleep because I'm not going to tap. And that was one of the things that my brother and I lived by. And when you have kids, it changes a little bit, right? So that was a hard thing. I was 43, I didn't fight for 5 years, so I was like out of the scene pretty much. And then, all the people who cared about me was just like, gosh, you can't go back and fight again. It's been 5 years, you're 43, this guy's 15 and 0, hasn't lost yet, and he's 21 years old. So here's some pictures of my kids. But I got 5 of them now, here's the 5th one. And here's my 2 youngest right here. And and there's the whole family, and my wife Marcia there. So it really makes it really hard to fight again because now my thinking is a little different. Going into that ring that last time was like, gosh, what do I do? And of course, going into that ring that next time, like I had all the dreams. I've always had these dreams. Every time I compete, I've always had these dreams like, I'm gonna get arm locked, I'm gonna get choked. Like even when I played racquetball, I always like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fly all the way to New York and I'm gonna lose first round. I gotta fly all the way home. And I would have images of me losing, and I used to have to always go back to my visualization and bring me back to winning the match. And I used to spend a lot of time visualizing it, and because I think people don't think that I'm like that because of the things that I've won. And I think that's one of the biggest things for most people. We are all doubting ourselves. In a lot of things that we do, a lot of us doubt ourselves. And the ones who rise above the rest usually figure out a way how to believe in yourself. I mean, even like Alice opening this is a big commitment opening something like this, right? And if she doubted herself, it wouldn't be here. So I think, this is some of the things that I always like to talk about. I won that fight, and my brother is right there, who looks kind of concerned. I think that picture was taken while the fight was going on. That fight actually ended up being only not even a minute long. It was like 46 seconds, so I finished that pretty quick. And then I went back 2 years ago and I entered the nogi jiu-jitsu world championships and went again in the absolute division against someone 200. He was 260 pounds and I beat him. So, and here's my specialty, MMA boot camps. I do all kinds of boot camps, but I like to do the MMA style because it just adds a little bit more. It's a lot more fun in the workouts. This is our old place, so this is, gotta update this. November 1st, we opened a brand new place. I think there might be a picture.
Yeah, there's a place.
There's, yeah, okay. So these are the kind of classes. I mean, our place was packed and barely had any room for us to move around and breathe. But this is the kind of stuff that we do. Everyone can do it. We have modifications for everything. And my newest business is this boot camp, and I do like the different videos of workouts. And we shot this at Turtle Bay. It's what we call slider workout. So we do have low impact stuff. I've come out since then with different training, and I don't know if you recognize this guy, Alex Olaford.
They all came because they
People
thought
get
Alex was coming.
So Alex is one of the guys that I train, and usually I train him 6 days a week during the summer. So this was his first day this past year, and then that's what he looked like within 2 weeks. So that's the kind of transformations people can make. Obviously he wasn't fat then, but you can see the difference in the stomach. But anyway, he's one of the clients that I have. I have Scott Kahn also that I train. These guys are more like jiu-jitsu type guys that I train. And here's our new location. There's Alice. And we're right behind the Sushi King on South King Street. Yeah, I'm pitching my new place, but you guys gotta see it. I'm pretty amazed at the place. Here's some ebooks that I came out with, I was talking about earlier. These ebooks are basically workouts that anyone can do anywhere. And I know it says fighter abs and it says MMA and all of that, but it's really for everyone. I think I'm gonna change those names to, I just got fighter fitness, so it makes it not as bad. It says MMA scares some people. Yeah, that's pretty cool when I just moved. So this right here, this one is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. And this is kind of cool because someone off of Twitter somehow created all of these images of me and sent it to me. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, I think she's from New Jersey. And I was like, wow, somebody from New Jersey is taking interest in some of the things that I do and came up with something like that for me. And I thought that was really cool. And does anyone have any questions? I got a couple more slides to go through, but I usually like to answer some questions if anyone has questions about anything. No? No questions?
Lots of questions. I think it just looks like so much information.
Don't worry, I won't hit you. No?
No, don't think the whole thing. That have a lot of.
Okay, so basically, like I told you, this is where you could find, if you wanted to do some of the workouts, you can pick the ebooks up right there.
And what do you mean right there?
at that website.
Oh, I see.
And then don't wait till you get kicked in the head. And don't wait till you get thrown in your head. So this was in Abu Dhabi at the World Championships where I ended up throwing him on his head and I think he slept for a little while. But so start now and check us out and check out our boot camps. We don't do any throwing and kicking like that. So it's a lot more fun.
Find a cage instead.
Yeah, we got a cage. Yeah, we got a cage now, but don't get intimidated by that. That cage is going to be put into good use. You're going to be using that for like a bulletproof program for the kids. And if you don't start now, 1 year from today, you're going to wish you did. And that happens a lot. I see a lot of people that say, man, I wish the last time I saw you again, I started on that day. And you know, they waited a whole year and they finally come and they make all their transformations. So in anything that you guys do in life, make sure that you do it when you decide to do it right now. Don't wait, because we don't know when it's going to be too late for us. That's it. And thank you guys for listening.
Oh, that was fast. Okay.
Yeah.